I run an appliance repair shop in downtown Jingzhou. To drum up some business, I painted a wild slogan on my sign. We fix space stations in heaven, and aircraft carriers, and submarines on Earth. If it runs on electricity, we can fix it. I never expected a real military big shot to actually show up at my door. One day I was just chilling in my shop with absolutely nothing to do when a stunning, elegantly dressed woman pushed the door open and walked in. "Boss, can you really repair anything here?" "Of course." "Didn't you see my sign? We do nuclear submarine and aircraft carrier maintenance, space station part replacement, and we offer discounts for bulk orders. Honest service. Guaranteed." "So beautiful. Do you need to fix a nuclear sub or an aircraft carrier?" She was clearly in no mood for jokes. Without a word, she placed her case on the table and popped it open. Inside, it looked like some kind of battery, wrapped tightly in protective foam. Tiny wires and microscopic crystals were intricately crisscrossed all over it. Seeing this, I bolted upright. "What on earth is this?" "A photolithography machine. To be exact, it's the calibration sensor module. It overloaded during an experiment, and the core carbon needle array got fried. Our project team needs it back urgently." Her name is Shum Quincy. She's a researcher at the Dragon Academy of Sciences. Due to an accident during an experiment, their equipment was badly damaged, bringing the entire project to a grinding halt. What's worse, several top national institutions had already told them it was completely beyond repair. If she hadn't been completely out of options, she would never have come to a tiny, rundown repair shop like this to try her luck. A photolithography machine? "Miss, are you sure you've got the right place? I only fix home appliances. Maybe you should try the hardware store next door and see if they can do anything." Angry, she looked at my clueless expression, and the last shred of hope in her heart instantly vanished. She let out a heavy sigh, kicked up the case, and turned to leave. After all, if even the country's top experts couldn't fix it, how could a simple appliance repairman ever pull it off? Seeing this, I quickly wiped the grin off my face. 6 months ago, I transmigrated to this world and inherited this repair shop. I was also bound to an infinite repair system. Over the past few months, I've seen plenty of bizarre and downright weird things, but I've rarely seen anything like this before. A lithography machine is such an incredibly advanced piece of tech. Isn't she just walking right into my wheelhouse? Looking at the component in your hand, it should be from a C7 lithography machine, right? Hearing this, Shen Qingqi froze in her tracks. How do you know the model? Tell me, what's its peak shock value? And how many nanoseconds can it sustain? Aside from the probe array, is there any other damage? Hearing this, Shen Qingqi's breath hitched instantly. She could hardly believe her ears. How could a simple home appliance repair shop owner ask such highly professional questions? Those technical terms are supposed to be top secret information. The peak is 15 times the standard power, and the shock duration is about 3 to 5 nanoseconds. All other components passed their self-test. I can fix it. But it's not going to be cheap. Money is no object, as long as you can fix it. I'll apply for the funding immediately. Seeing this, I offered a subtle smile and held up 5 fingers. Fine, 5 million it is.
深前期贵合体
Even though the price was outrageously expensive, given the current situation, she was in no position to bargain. What are you thinking? 5 million? It's 500 yuan, non-negotiable. It's just that fixing this thing of yours takes up a lot of electricity. 500 yuan? Are you sure? Shen Qingqi was completely dumbfounded. She felt like her entire understanding of the world had been completely shattered. She quickly pulled out her phone, scanned the QR code, and made the payment. With a beep, a voice announced, "Pay payment received. 500 yuan." Seeing this, I grinned. I casually put on a pair of anti-static gloves, spread a relatively clean white cloth across the desk, and only then did I carefully lift the module out of the box and place it on the table. System, time to get to work. The next second, a digital interface flashed before my eyes. Repairable item detected. C7 lithography machine calibration sensor module. Damage level, 88%. Repair plan fully analyzed. All systems ready. I turned around and pulled a dusty military green box off the shelf. The moment I popped it open, Shen Qing's eyes practically popped out of his head. Wait, what? What on earth is all this junk? He'd expected me to pull out some high-tech secret weapon, but when he saw what was actually inside, he was utterly speechless. It was just a bizarre, heavily modified soldering iron, a Hauful heat gun, and a bunch of other tools that looked just as bad. As they weren't kitchen ebb beaters, they were random scraps salvaged from a dumpster. Good, Mus. You're not seriously planning to fix my lithography component with this garbage, are you? Relax. These tools of mine are family heirlooms. We were actually used to polish parts for the Apollo moon landing back in the day. If this weren't a lithography machine, I wouldn't even dream of bringing them out. I started setting up, flashing him a wide grin. Say what? The Apollo moon landing? Shen Qing's mouth twitched violently, though he bitterly regretted stepping foot into this shop. There was no turning back now. He had no choice but to treat a dead horse as a live one and hope for a miracle. Meanwhile, he picked up the hairdryer and pointed it at the module. Instead of the scorching heat wave he expected, there was only a faint scent of ozone. But standing nearby, Shen Qingqi gasped in shock as the microscopic circuitry. Boss. What on earth is that? It's a reverse reaction triggered by electrostrictive microstress. By converting specific frequencies into pulses, we trigger the metal's lattice memory. Simply put, it helps the metal remember its original shape. Before Shen Qingqi could even process this, I plugged in the hideous-looking soldering iron. The needle attached to the end of the iron began to glow red hot. Seeing this, Shen Qingqi, still reeling from shock, felt his heart leap into his throat again. What are you doing? Why are you holding a red-hot pin? But my expression shifted, turning more serious than it had ever been. Holding the pen perfectly still, I slowly lowered it toward the damaged core of the module on the probe array. Just as the tip approached, a tiny electrical arc, barely visible to the naked eye, began to crackle. And right there, Shen Qingxi witnessed a sight he would never forget for the rest of his life. Oh, come on. Don't look so shocked, okay? It's just some basic cold atom glass. For a researcher from the Dragon Academy of Sciences, you really look like you've never seen the world. Just cold atom glass? Do you even hear yourself right now? This kind of technology is something we wouldn't even dare to write about in our wildest futuristic tech papers. Shen Qingqi was so shocked, he was completely speechless. He felt his entire scientific worldview, built over decades of grueling academic study, was being completely shattered into pieces by this man with a pile of literal junk. All right, last step. Rebuilding the probe array and microcircuitry. Shen Qingxi watched me eagerly with wide, expectant eyes as I pulled some fine powder out of a nearby biscuit tin and poured it into a small glass vial. Then I popped a hand mixer right into the vial and turned it on. Is that ultrasonic nebulization levitation? Oh? You've actually seen this before? Well, I guess that means you're not a total fraud of a researcher.
Great.
Then I fired up the soldering iron. Peering through a specialized magnifying glass, Shen Qingqi watched as the previously fried circuitry began to rapidly restore itself. And the repaired circuits looked even more perfect than the original ones. By now, fine beads of sweat coated my forehead. Done! All fixed. Though, I've got to say, the precision on this thing is incredibly high. Hearing this, Shen Qingqi's eyes went wide. It's already fixed? It hasn't even been 30 minutes. Did you seriously just use a pushpin and a bunch of junk from a biscuit tin to fix this? Are you doubting my skills? You've standing right there watching the whole time, haven't you? If you're still worried, go ahead and inspect it. Oh, by the way, I also boosted the precision of your lithography machine a bit. So, you're gonna have to pay me extra. The moment those words left my mouth, Shen Qing's eyes nearly popped out of his head. My mention of the cold atom glass technology was still echoing in his mind. In his state of sheer shock, I had naturally become an absolute, undeniable legendary master in his eyes. And now, this legendary master was actually talking about the most vulgar thing of all. Money. Boss, what did you mean by that electromagnetic shuttling thing you mentioned earlier? Didn't I already tell you? It's a secret technique, passed down through my family. We don't share it with outsiders. It's a family technique, passed down from my ancestors. Lithography machines have only been around for a few decades. Your ancestors must have been pretty young then. So, you said you wanted extra. How much are we talking about? Around this much should do, for 8 fingers. Is that 30,000 or 300,000? Shen Qingqi was stunned again. Paying too much didn't feel right, but paying too little seemed even worse. 300,000 it is then. Look, lady. You can't just throw the government's money around like it's nothing. I meant 300 bucks. Stop throwing thousands around, all right? Hearing this, Shen Qingxi's wide eyes filled with utter disbelief. You actually fixed it, and you're not even trying to rip me off? This is lithography technology we're talking about. Even if you asked for tens of millions, I'd still have to pay you. 800 bucks. Not a single penny less. Oh, right. I forgot to tell you earlier. I went ahead and calibrated the precision of your template. For you. I'm really sorry about that. But honestly, this template of yours is way too outdated. I just couldn't help myself. The original resonance frequency was way too rough, so I adjusted it forward by 1%. That shouldn't negatively affect your project, right? You adjusted it by how much? 1%? Hearing this, Shen Qingxi instantly gasped. As a professional in the field, she knew exactly how massive a breakthrough that 1% was. Excuse me, sir? Could I get your contact info? For what? I'm a respectable man, you know. I already fixed your machine. Why are you trying to take the repairman home too? Shen Qingxi was completely speechless. She truly couldn't wrap her head around this man. One second he's a brilliant hidden master, and the next he's just incredibly cringe. No, I just thought, if we need something repaired in the future, I'd be able to reach you right away. Put! I bet you're just worried that if it breaks again, you won't be able to track me down. Don't worry. My shop is right here. You can come back anytime. If it's not fixed properly, I'll just refund your $800. Simple as that.
Sen Cheng's mouth twitched violently.
But then he remembered. He had to rush back and report. Just as he stepped out of the shop, his phone started buzzing. He pulled it out to check. It was a call from the director, Joe Dio.
Jialing, where on earth are you?
Didn't I tell you to get the lithography module repaired? Director, please, calm down. It is fixed. I am bringing it back right now. Fixed? Where did you get it fixed? At a home appliance repair shop. Have you completely lost your mind? That is a lithography machine. Director, I am not lying. It is really fixed. The coarse sensor chain and the micro-level circuitry have all been fully restored. What's more, its precision has actually increased by 1%. Silence hung heavy on the other end of the line. After what felt like an eternity, the director finally spoke. Where are you? I'm coming to pick you up myself. All the way back, the Research Institute's car sped wildly down the road. Behind the wheel, Johto's face was grim and deadly pale, clutching the metal box tightly to his chest. Every nerve in Zhang Yingshu's body was stretched to the absolute breaking point. He knew the director was sitting on a powder keg, ready to explode at any second. Yet his mind was completely occupied by the smug, carefree look on my face, and those repair tools that looked like nothing more than a pile of scrap metal. He was starting to wonder if the last few hours had just been some bizarre, surreal dream. Outside the main building of the Institute, researchers from every major project group had already gathered, waiting anxiously. The moment the car screeched to a halt at the entrance, the crowd instantly swarmed around it. Ling X, how did it go? Is the module fixed? Where is it? Show us, quickly. Our entire project is completely stalled without it. It should be fixed. What do you mean? It should be. What on earth does should be fixed mean? And where exactly did you get it repaired?
The top manufacturers told us it would take at least several months.
You've only been guard for a few hours, and you're telling us it's done? I got it fixed at an appliance repair shop. A collective gasp echoed through the crowd. An appliance repair shop? This is a state-of-the-art lithography machine. Why on earth would you take it to a cheap repair shop? Are you pulling our legs? Zhao Ningxue, have you completely lost your mind? Are you out of your mind? You're gambling with the entire Dragon Science Institute's reputation. His body was trembling so hard that tears started welling up in his eyes. Enough! All of you, shut up! Jiangshu, are you absolutely sure this is fixed? Her mind went completely blank, and she could only nod dumbly. Fine. Take the module to Dust-Free Lab number 1 for testing immediately. If it's actually fixed, you'll be credited with a massive achievement. But it's not. You'd better prepare yourself for a military tribunal. At this point, she could only pin all her hopes on that incredibly sketchy repair shop owner. Inside Dust-Free Lab number 1, several specialists dressed in protective suits carefully took the module out of the case to begin testing.
Oh my god, what kind of welding craftsmanship is this?
The repaired circuitry. It's absolutely gorgeous. Did Zhang Lixia trick down some hidden master beyond our backs?
This looks like it came straight from the original manufacturer.
Wait! No, wait. This is even more perfect than the factory original. There's not a single trace of any repair work. Just a few minutes later,
Waves of gasps and admiration suddenly erupted from the crowd in the distance.
she looked up at everyone, completely bewildered. Wait, this material isn't right. Analyze this material immediately. We don't seem to have this kind of repair material in our database. Yes, Dean. Materials team, boot up the equipment immediately. Run a full scan and analysis on the repaired section of the module. Zhang Shou's heart leaped into her throat once again. Dean, our database shows that we don't have this material registered anywhere. But
What? Not even in our database?
it's already 2026. How can there still be an undiscovered material in this world? Hurry, power it up and test it. Zhou Do could no longer hide the excitement in his voice. Everyone scrambled back to their stations. Power system self-test complete. No anomalies detected. Internal logic unit check complete. Connection test complete. Values are within the controlled range. Lines of green data began popping up on the giant screen.
With every system prompt, everyone's heart skipped a beat. A module that was declared physically fried actually passed every single self-test.
This is scientifically impossible.
Hurry, run the precision test.
Jodo swayed slightly before sinking heavily into his chair, looking as if he had been completely drained of all strength.
Dean, we have a report. The values. They're a bit off.
Hearing the researcher's words, Shen Kongqi's eyes narrowed in sheer shock.
He clenched his fist so hard that the cold sweat from his palms began to seep through his sleeves. Did something really go wrong?
Judo sprang up from his chair. What is it? What's wrong?
Is there a problem?
This looks like a highly advanced lithography module. Its precision rating is actually 1% higher than our previous model.
I'm starting to suspect. This module isn't even ours. But with our current global technology, this level of precision shouldn't even exist. It improved by 1%?
Judo stood frozen, as if struck by lightning.
His eyes rolled back, and he collapsed straight to the floor. The rest of the team stared at the data scrolling across the giant screen, their faces filled with wild excitement. But Chen Qingju just stood there, staring blankly at the cheering crowd. Then, our lithography calibration module.
Does this mean it's actually fixed?
Fixed. Drop the question mark.
It's beyond fixed.
Sayashu,
This isn't just fixed.
This is a massive technological breakthrough.
You just pulled off a miracle.
Her mind went completely blank.
In a daze, she pointed a finger at herself. She still hadn't recovered from the sheer terror of moments ago.
What? I pulled off a miracle?
Just a second ago, the director said I was going to be court-martialed. How on earth did I become a hero in the blink of an eye?
Jacking Kyusho, in light of your outstanding performance in overcoming this major technological bottleneck,
I am officially appointing you as the head of this research department.
she could hardly believe her ears.
Just landing a job at the Dragon Science Academy was already the ultimate peak for an ordinary person. Being promoted to department head? She wasn't even close to being qualified.
Was it really? Because of that repaired module?
Suddenly she realized that sketchy-looking young man at the shop hadn't been lying to her at all. He didn't just fix the lithography module. Even his claim about the 1% precision boost was absolutely real. Tell us, Department Head Jiang. Dozens of elite research institutes told us this was a lost cause. Which top-secret military contractor or high-level command base did you go to for this? For a breakthrough this massive,
I must personally go and express our deepest gratitude to them.
I really wasn't lying to you guys.
I actually got it fixed at a tiny appliance repair shop.
A repair shop? They can barely even fix a TV.
and we are talking about a lithography machine here.
江映写，你妈不是贴紧啊？
Exactly. That joke is not funny at all.
I am really not joking. I was completely out of options back then, which is why I went to that repair shop. Their sign outside was just too eye-catching. A sign? What sign?
Fixing spacecraft and space stations above,
And repairing aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines below. If it runs on electricity, there is nothing we cannot fix.
as soon as she said that,
The entire lab fell dead silent.
so I went inside.
The owner used a soldering iron, a heat gun, and an egg beater to fix the module. In the end, he only charged me 800 yuan.
Seeing how everyone reacted,
Her voice slowly trailed off. At this moment, everyone stared at Shen Qingxia, their eyes filled with shock and utter disbelief. Fixing a lithography machine with an egg beater.
that makes absolutely no sense.
If someone actually had that kind of technology, the entire world would probably start a war over him.
Seeing this, Jodo immediately stepped forward.
He barked at the crowd. This matter is now classified as top secret.
Anyone who leaks it?
Will be prosecuted for espionage. Project team, manufacture a new batch of chips immediately based on this new level of precision.
I want to see the results in the shortest time possible.
With that, Jodale beckoned to her. Jiaoshu,
Don't leave just yet.
do you still remember where that repair shop is?
Yes, I do. Good. Take me there.
I want to see what this owner is really made of.
Wait for me outside. For a moment.
I need to grab something.
If this owner can actually fix this item.
Then I, Shodiru, will give him whatever he wants.
A few minutes later, she finally saw Shodell running toward her in a hurry.
But when she saw what Zhou Deho was holding in his arms,
Her heart skipped a beat.
isn't that the chip for the Nandu 3 global satellite navigation system?
Wait, the director doesn't seriously expect that shop owner to fix this thing, does he? Is it even possible to fix this? A short while later, the two of them drove over to my shop. The moment they walked in, he greeted me like an old friend. Hey there, boss. Long time no see.
And you brought a +1 this time?
Are you here to pick a fight or what? No, boss. Please don't misunderstand. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the stuff you fixed.
This is a senior of mine,
He heard how incredibly skilled you are.
and wanted you to take a look at something for him.
Since he wasn't here to pick a fight, I felt a whole lot better. Well, since you're a returning customer, I'll do you a favor. Bring it out. Let me see what we're dealing with. Ever since Jodo stepped to the door, he had been sizing up the place. It was even more run down than he had imagined.
He had assumed that a place capable of repairing a passenger airliner would at least have some professional equipment.
But not only was there no professional gear here, it actually looked worse than your average run-of-the-mill repair shop. Hearing my words,
Judo holding the case in his hands.
Boss, can you take a look at this and see if it can be fixed? I pretended to study the chip carefully. But in reality, I was screaming for the system in my head.
System, hurry up and scan this.
Repairable item detected. Nandu number 3 satellite navigation chip. Military encrypted edition. Damage level, 92%. Main logic gate severely overloaded.
Data buffer failed.
Military. I knew the second this old man walked in that he was no ordinary guy.
But I never expected him to be with the military.
It looks like I've caught the attention of the higher-ups.
Yao, this chip is...
Isn't this just a Nandu satellite navigation chip? The main logic gate is completely blown, and the data buffer is fried along with it. It was probably caused by a sudden, massive power surge.
your protective measures are pretty weak. The moment the words left my mouth, the entire repair shop fell into a dead silence.
For the first time, a look of sheer, utter shock washed over Joe Dillo's weathered eyes. It seems this kid actually knows his stuff. So boss, can you fix this? Here? I can fix it. But as for the price...
With that, I raised 5 fingers and waved them right in front of Joe Dehel's face. Seeing this, Zodihu was absolutely ecstatic.
500,000. Let alone 500,000. Even if it were 50 million, it would still be worth every single penny.
Should I scan a code or pay cash?
Wait, no. It is not 500,000. It is $500.
What? 500 bucks?
$500? That wouldn't even buy the box this chip came in. A price like that is a total insult to our nation's cutting-edge technology. Take it or leave it. You research folks. Money comes way too easy for you guys.
It is 500 bucks. Not a single penny more.
Or I am not fixing it.
We will take it. We will take it, boss. Please, fix it.
He quickly whipped out his phone and scanned the payment code. Judo was completely speechless. He could only watch in utter disbelief as a critical chip tied to the nation's strategic defense was handed over to some young guy for a measly 500 bucks. If you weren't a regular customer, I wouldn't have even bothered with this job.
Do you seriously think I am starving for 500 bucks?
How ridiculous. Meanwhile, Joe Doe's face turned a visible shade of green. You think this is some minor issue? This is the core component of our entire Nande satellite.
This guy seemed so serious just a second ago.
How did he turn into such an arrogant brat all of a sudden?
Director, please. Don't worry.
That is just how the boss is.
The most talented people always have the strangest quirks. I do not care about his quirks. His face turning a deep, angry red, Joe Dehol stormed over to the corner and pulled out another small case. When the case was opened, Udo's heart nearly jumped right out of his throat. Inside was an old-fashioned hand drill that looked like it had been stolen from some sketchy dental clinic,
A rusty old clamp.
and what looked like a hand-cranked coffee grinder. If you sold all this junk to a scrapyard, you wouldn't even get $5 for it.
Jodo could not take it anymore.
His hands shaking violently, he pointed at the pile of junk and asked with a trembling voice, "Boss,
You aren't seriously going to use these things to fix my chip, are you?
what? Are you turning your nose up at my tools? Fine, then take it back and figure it out yourselves. This little cap of mine is way too small for big shots like you." That instantly rubbed me the wrong way. I tossed my tools aside and slammed myself down in the chair. "Boss, you? Please, fix it. Look, we already paid you."
Seeing this, Joe Deho scrambled to play peacemaker, his face turning bright red.
But Shan Quenchi firmly held him back.
I rolled my eyes at Joe Deho, then slowly clamped the flat iron onto the chip.
At the same time,
Shen Guinja deftly picked up my special magnifying glass.
looking through the lens,
Judo Hushet witnessed an unbelievable sight.
what kind of technology is this? Are you giving that microchip a perm? Every single hair on Joe Delor's body stood on end. He felt like all his years of scientific research had been a complete waste.
A hair straightener. Fixing a microchip?
What was the point of everything he had studied?
If he'd known, he could have just bought a $20 flat iron from the supermarket. He would have saved $500.
Saxia, are you sure this is how he fixed the lithography machine?
This is a joke. He's treating us like children.
This doesn't look like repairing at all. Exactly, Director. Look at that powder.
This technology is called ultrasonic atomization levitation.
Ultrasonic atomization levitation.
What kind of technology is that? Is that even in any textbook?
I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to those two. I picked up a dental drill and traced the powder to repair the damaged areas of the chip. The entire process was pretty much the same as repairing the lithography module, except the materials used were vastly different.
Tiny electrical arcs, barely visible to the naked eye, jumped from the tip of the needle onto the chip's circuitry,
precisely patching up every single microscopic dent.
This was way more ridiculous than tearing an enemy apart with bare hands.
All right, all done. It's done already?
This is a Nandu satellite navigation chip.
How did you fix it so fast? Even a professional institution would take months just to come up with a repair plan. Well, what did you expect? So, should I beat some drums, throw a ribbon-cutting ceremony, and have your boss give a speech first?
Jodo seriously wanted to curse right now.
This kid was undeniably brilliant.
But man, his mouth was absolute poison. Just one snarky remark from him had the old man gasping for air, unable to find his words,
as he watched me casually toss my tools back into the toolbox.
acting so nonchalant as if I had just fixed a broken rice cooker or something.
A massive wave of absurdity washed over him.
I must be losing my mind, he thought.
Either that or I'm dreaming. How is this even possible? Dudu's face flushed a bright, deep red instantly.
He looked so choked up that he could barely breathe.
Director, are you all right?
Whoa, look, I just fixed a gadget for you.
Please don't go dying on me here. I still need this little shop to make a living, you know. I'm fine.
Judo gasped, struggling to regain his composure.
Director, you better get used to it. This is just a standard everyday task for the boss.
Standard task?
Xiaoxia, do you have any idea how soul-crushing this whole thing is for me?
A problem that hundreds of top experts at our entire Dragon Science Academy couldn't solve after pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into it.
And he just fixed it using a few cheap dental drills and a hair straightener?
All right, old man, your tech is fixed.
Also, that orbital leap algorithm of yours is a bit low-end.
So, I went ahead and optimized it for you.
And the underlying lattice density was too low.
And the layout was all messed up.
So I adjusted that for you too.
It was no trouble at all.
Seeing that Jodo had finally caught his breath,
I let out a long sigh of relief and said,
I was actually going to charge you an extra $200. But seeing how you almost passed out just now, I'll let it slide. Don't want to actually send an old man to his grave right here in my shop.
What?
in such a short amount of time.
You not only repaired the chip,
But you also optimized the algorithm.
And rearranged the entire lattice layout. Is this even something a human is capable of?
All right, take your chip back. I won't charge you any extra this time. You guys got a massive bargain.
Its sleep frequency should be way more stable now. Timing error could theoretically be reduced by another 1 to 2 orders of magnitude.
As for the exact calculations, I can't run them in detail right now. Just take it back and test it yourselves. Judo couldn't take it anymore.
His head bulged.
His legs went weak, and he collapsed straight to the ground. Meanwhile, inside the dust-free laboratory number 1 of the Dragon Academy of Sciences, figures bustled back and forth. Every face was dead serious, as if they were fighting a desperate battle.
Photoresist coating uniformity check complete.
Error within allowable limits. Photomask calibration target precision improved by 1%. Recalculating alignment parameters.
Vacuum chamber pressure stable at preset value. Reports echoed one after another.
Tense with urgency. Chief Engineer Chu Jiang stared intently at the giant screen.
Listening to the updates pouring through his headset. An improvement of 1 whole percentage point. This was the most absurd experiment. But if its existence could be confirmed, then from this day forward, China's precision in lithography technology, we'd leave the rest of the world miles behind. Yet, he still found it hard to believe that this machine had actually been fixed by some rundown repair stall. Initiate exposure sequence.
He Jing Hum delivered the final command through the intercom.
a low, gentle hum resounded.
And the lithography machine began to run. Everyone held their breath. Success or failure hung on this single moment. Data scrolled frantically across the massive screen, every character pulsing like a racing heartbeat. Exposure completed.
Development clear.
Baking complete. Every single step was textbook perfect as the robotic arm transferred the wafer, carrying the hopes of countless people onto the testing stage.
Kang's heart nearly skipped a beat.
Testing results. Flawless.
All right, all parameters normal. Structural integrity intact. Actual precision improved by 1.2%. Instantly, the entire laboratory fell dead silent.
Everyone stood frozen in place, like statues.
We did it! We actually did it!
Oh my god. Tell me I'm not dreaming.
People burst out laughing.
Yet tears poured down their faces like open floodgates.
And Ji Shin stared blankly at the 1.2% flashing on the giant screen. His body trembled uncontrollably.
All those years of study, all that knowledge, completely torn to shreds by a mere home appliance repairman. And at the exact same time, inside the high-level conference room of Huaxia, the atmosphere was suffocatingly heavy. The massive 40-foot-long conference table was packed with people. Every single one of them was among Huaxia's most influential scientists today. I assume you've all read Zhou Deho's report. So, tell me your thoughts. Sun Wenyuan tapped his fingers against the table. His voice carried a hint of suppressed irritation. In front of everyone lay the latest report from the 7th Research Institute of the Dragon Academy of Sciences. What is there to even discuss? Judo's making an absolute mockery of us. The calibration module of the C7 lithography machine is the absolute core of our technology. Even on a global scale, only a handful of countries are capable of repairing it. But he actually handed it over to a home appliance repairman to fix a lithography module. Does he seriously think a lithography machine is just some television? Elder Wen slammed his hands on the table and stood up in anger. His face was flushed with pure fury. I completely agree with Elder Wen. The report actually mentions some ancestral craftsmanship and some hidden master among the common folk. Does he think he's writing a martial arts fantasy novel? I think Zhou Deho is under so much pressure that he started hallucinating. We've been strangled by Western countries for years now. We can all understand why he's so desperate. But the more critical the situation, the more we must keep a clear, level head. Zhou Deho is falsifying his reports. This is no longer a simple case of negligence. It is a severe breach of discipline. The tension in the conference room grew even heavier by the second. Almost everyone was in complete agreement. The introduction was, hearing the heated arguments around him, Song Mingguan felt his brow furrow even deeper. He knew Zhou Deho was an incredibly rigorous, meticulous scientist. He was definitely not the kind of man to make wild, baseless claims. Director Zhou Deho's contributions to our scientific research are clear for all of us to see. Perhaps there is another explanation for this. Some details we don't know yet. The only detail here is this absurd report itself. I propose we immediately suspend all research projects at the 7th Research Institute and send in an investigation team to look into this. I second the motion. Me too. Looking at the outraged crowd, Song Mingwen let out a deep sigh. This time, Zhou Deho, you've really hit a brick wall. And right at that moment, a knock came from the conference room door. At the door, the secretary is flushed with panic. Minister Song, another urgent report has just come in from the 7th Research Institute. Does he ever stop? What is next? Is his next report going to say he built a Gundam? Elder Yan lets out a cold snort, his expression growing more and more grim. According to the report, the 7th Research Institute has just developed a brand new type of chip, and it uses an entirely new scaling standard. A brand new standard? Just how new? Well, the report says it increases our precision by 1 whole percentage point. As soon as the words leave his mouth, the entire conference room falls dead silent. A second later, the room completely erupts. 1%? Do you have any idea what that actually means? Hurry, give me that report. Elder Yan lunges forward, snatching the document right out of his hand. He scans the pages, and after just a few seconds, his entire body begins to tremble uncontrollably. What is it? Elder Yan, are you okay? These data points are flawless. How is this even possible? A person can lie, but numbers do not. He has been in research for decades. If a single calculation was off, he would have spotted it instantly. The data in this report is absolutely, undeniably real. I knew it! Zhou Deho has been the director for so many years. There is no way he would fabricate anything. But this whole thing is just too bizarre. Could it be that some technology they have been developing just happened to reach its peak, and they managed to break through by pure chance? Pure chance? A whole percentage point? You call that a coincidence? Song Mingwen ignores the heated debate around him. He quickly grabs the report and begins studying it intently. A moment later, his gaze locks onto the words 1.2% breakthrough and brand new chip over and over again. Everyone, the data in this report is absolutely indisputable, which means Zhou Deho's report cannot possibly be fake. But now, the mystery lies with this appliance repair shop. Song Mingwen takes a deep, steadying breath, a look of pleasant surprise on his face, but mostly utter bewilderment. An appliance repair shop. Is this a hidden master among the people? Or some legendary family secret? These words look normal enough on paper. But he's just an appliance repairman. How on earth did he fix a photolithographic machine? And worst of all, he actually pulled it off. Minister Song. I just can't believe this is real. That's a photolithography machine module we're talking about. How could something like that come out of a rundown appliance repair shop? A photolithography module. That is the absolute core of the technology. Only a handful of countries in the entire world can even repair it.
Perhaps that appliance repair shop is actually one of Dean Show's secret bases. One of the academicians furrowed his brows in deep thought. The meeting room instantly erupted into chaotic chatter again. We were completely shell-shocked by the success of the chip, but the more shocked they were, the more curious they became about this appliance repair shop. We absolutely must investigate it. Here's what we'll do, yelled Lee. Get some people to track down this shop for me immediately. Hey boss, think you can fix this thing? One of the men asked, placing a small gadget on the counter. The object was small and square,
Without any kind of protective case.
What thing is this? An old school MP3 player? Or an old power bank? Yeah, exactly. It's just an old-fashioned music player. Can you fix it, boss? A music player?
Does any music player on Earth look like this?
How are you trying to fool?
The second these two stepped through the door.
I had already scanned every single electronic device they had on them.
This thing is actually a Black Hawk military encryptor. The malfunction was caused by an improper power down, which triggered a security lockout. These two definitely didn't come here to get something repaired. They're here to test me.
This thing looks pretty ancient. It's gonna be a bit tricky to fix. Old gear like this
Really tests your skills. Most of the time, it's not even broken.
It's just acting up. I tossed the bug up and down in my hand.
The two men exchanged a bewildered look. Clearly, they were getting impatient with my mysterious act.
This time, I didn't even bother bringing out the egg beater. I just tapped my finger on the spy bug a few times. The taps were slow and rhythmic. It looked like I was just casually tapping away, but those two were already sweating bullets. He's tapping out. The emergency sequence override.
Huh, I hear it.
Then,
This is a military-grade spy bug.
this kind of sequence override is designed to destroy the transmitter without being detected. But an appliance repair shop owner? How does he know this would fix it? Just as their minds were reeling with shock, the red light on the bug in my hand started flashing. All right, all done.
I knew this damn thing just needed a good kick.
$20. Scan the code or cash?
I tossed the bug onto the table. I held up 2 fingers at them.
The two brothers were completely stunned.
How did you know? What? Didn't I tell you?
It's a family tradition. My granddad used to rely on this exact trick to cure the local village tractor's constipation. But jokes aside, gentlemen, you brought a spy bug in here and told me it was an MP3 player.
That's not very nice.
If I actually treated this bug like a music player, took it apart, and broke it, whose fault would that be? At those words, their hair stood on end. A shiver ran through them like they'd been struck by lightning. They thought this young guy knew absolutely nothing. But as it turned out, he knew what was really going on the second they walked through the door. The two brothers were already sweating bullets. Their faces were turning redder by the second.
All right, cut the crap.
Transfer the $20. Quickly. Don't even think about stiffing me.
My security cameras are recording the whole thing.
We'll pay. The two brothers nodded frantically. They whipped out their phones and hurriedly scanned to pay the $20.
All right, anything else?
It's fixed, so why are you still here? I checked my phone to confirm the payment.
Shanji looked at the two of them with a puzzled expression.
Come on, let's go. Right now. The two of them grabbed the wiretap and fled the shop as if their lives depended on it. Yo, please. What, are they waiting for me to say check it out? But they had barely walked any distance from the shop before the two brothers scrabbled into their car, panting heavily. Minister Song, it's us. What's the situation? Does that repair shop actually exist? We found it, yes, and the shop is definitely there. But the guy running it is a bit freaky. Actually, he's way creepier than we could have ever imagined. The second we stepped through the door, we fell right into his trap. Not only did he see right through the device we wanted fixed, he even knew the encrypted unlocking method. He knows our encrypted unlocking method? How is that even possible? That wiretap is top-of-the-line military grade. It was literally designed for international espionage. Are you kidding me right now? Minister Song, I swear every word is true. This repair shop owner is definitely weird. It's hard to explain over the phone right now.
Fine. You two get back here first.
Inside the hospital, the sharp smell of disinfectant filled Jody Ho's nose. The heart monitor beeped in a faint, rhythmic tone.
Director, you're awake.
The chip. Where is our chip? It's right here. It's safe. He quickly brought the small case over.
Judo hurriedly glanced inside at the completely undamaged chip.
Only then did he finally breathe a sigh of relief. I need to leave the hospital. Director, the doctor said you are in no condition to be discharged yet. You need complete rest. No, we are at a critical juncture right now. I must get out of here. Judo stubbornly struggled to get up and quickly changed into his clothes. He tightly clutched the Nandu satellite chip to his chest. Once, This was considered nothing but junk.
Now, it was his absolute baby.
Go get the car. We're going back right now.
Before long, the building of the 7th Research Institute was right in front of them.
The car cleared one security checkpoint after another and came to a smooth stop right at the entrance of the office building. The moment the car stopped, a researcher in a white lab coat rushed over, panic written all over his face.
What's wrong? What happened?
Director, people from the central system are here. They're in the lab right now. Let's go take a look. The central system? Why would they suddenly come to the 7th Research Institute? Word is, they came to inspect the new high-precision chip developed by a lithography machine.
They heard about that 1% precision rate, and they didn't really believe it, so they came to verify it in person. What did you say?
The 1% precision chip has actually been developed?
Hearing this, Jodaho's eyes nearly popped out of his skull.
Yes,
We actually developed it. It was finalized not long after you and Team Leader Zhao left.
great. But who the hell authorized them to submit the report?
Normally, a report should only be submitted when everything is absolutely foolproof. The chip was just finished, and they already rushed to submit a report to the central system.
If even a single thing goes wrong now,
That's falsifying scientific data. It's a crime on the same level as fabricating military intelligence.
Are they just begging for trouble?
Fine, go round up the project team immediately. Anyone who had a hand in developing this new chip thinks they're in the lab right now.
with that, Jodaho spun around and rushed straight toward the laboratory.
Inside the massive cleanroom laboratory, a crowd had gathered.
Crowding around the lithography machine, gesturing and discussing animatedly. Standing at the front was none other than Elder Yan from the central system.
The feedback loop of the calibration module has been optimized to its absolute limit. Even the optical path compensation route has been completely redesigned.
This is nothing short of a miracle. And the most incredible part is, all these optimizations were achieved within the original framework,
Without compromising a single basic protocol. How on earth is this possible?
Director Shou, can you please tell me?
What in the world is going on with your lab?
Setting the lithography machine aside for a moment.
Tell me about this chip. How did it end up with a structure like this? Hearing this, all the polite pleasantries Jodeo had prepared instantly died in his throat.
Explain?
How the hell was he supposed to explain? He didn't even know the chip had been successfully developed yet. Elder Jan, fellow academicians, this might be a bit complicated to explain in words. So, why don't we just jump straight to the test data?
It'll be much more straightforward.
After all, no amount of explanation can match the impact of hard, undeniable data. As the newly developed chip was carefully clamped and slotted into the testing platform, a low buzz echoed through the room. The testing slot automatically locked into place. Automatic environmental check. Initiated. Vacuum environment. Stable. Temperature. Locked at 21.5 degrees Celsius. Electromagnetic shielding. Active. First, initiating baseline calibration accuracy test. Calibration module response time. 3.8 nanoseconds. Operation status. Stable. Optical path deviation correction rate. 12.5 micrometers per second. Exceeding design specs by 1.2%. As they listened to the real-time reports coming from each station, a sudden murmur rippled through the gathered crowd. Just this baseline data alone was enough to leave them utterly shocked. Elder Yan, this data, it's already absolutely incredible. The peak correction rate in our standard lithography machine's original design was only 12.1 micromortars. Elder Yan nearly gave a flat, expressionless grunt. He seemed completely unfazed. Baseline test. Passed. Initiating phase 2. High-intensity stress testing. Judo also maintained a blank face, but his trembling hands and tense posture completely betrayed the nervous anxiety eating away at him. Commands entered.
Suddenly, the holographic projection flared to life.
A massive flood of data began pouring into the chip at an insane rate.
This test simulated the lithography machine.
Think in extreme conditions, performing ultra-high precision exposures and highly complex computations simultaneously. Status update. Chip workload is at 99.6%. Temperature is rising. 45 degrees. 67 degrees. It's hit 70 degrees. Everything rode on this single moment.
The entire laboratory fell dead silent.
The only sound was the collective, nervous swallowing of the anxious onlookers. In all previous tests, once a chip exceeded its safe temperature limit, it would immediately trigger its self-protection system.
Its clock frequency would throttle, and its calibration performance would take a massive hit.
Yet, looking at the holographic screen right now, the calibration response time hadn't dropped even a fraction.
It remained rock solid at 3.8 nanoseconds.
The temperature has stabilized. It's holding steady at 76 degrees.
How? How is this even possible?
How on earth is the heat dissipation staying this stable? This completely defies our original design. Elder Yan and the crowd stare grimly at the holographic projection.
What they are seeing completely shatters everything they know about traditional science.
All stations, prepare for testing. We are running the final simulation. testing the lithography machine under extreme vibrations, scorching heat, and intense electromagnetic interference.
Initiate ultra-precision robotic arm calibration and extreme stress testing.
But director, extreme vibration and electromagnetic interference are the absolute highest standards.
No chip in the world can survive that. It'll fry in a split second.
Old Joe, listen to me. We've already seen how successful this new chip is. There's no need to push it any further.
What you've done is already perfect.
But Jodo has completely lost his mind. He refuses to listen to a single word of warning.
Not even with Elder Yan standing right in front of him.
But this is Institute number 7. This is Joe Dio's turf. Did you not hear my command? Execute it immediately. I said, do not test it. Let's see who dares to touch that button.
Elder Yan is absolutely furious now. If such a masterpiece of a chip gets ruined just because Shodiddle decided to raise the stakes,
it would break every single one of their hearts.
The operators at each testing station freeze, their hands hovering in the air as sweat pours down their faces. Elder Yan from the central system ordered them to stop.
But Jodo is demanding they proceed.
On one side is the central system,
with authority far above their research institute. On the other is their direct boss. Offending either one of them is a death sentence.
But the truth is,
the researchers simply don't dare to disobey Shodoho's command.
The calligraphy machine, which had just powered down, roars back to life, and the holographic data on the screen begins to scroll frantically once more.
Jodo, 为你逃狱 right now.
If this experiment fails,
you'll be facing a court-martial. Jodo acts as if he didn't hear a single word.
His eyes are glued to the massive screen. On the holographic display, the calibration error rate is fluctuating wildly, climbing higher and higher. This is the ultimate test of the chip's ability to maintain optical alignment under extreme stress. Suddenly, the final error probability flashes onto the holographic screen. A string of zeros. 0 deviation, 0 errors. Everyone's eyes popped out in utter shock.
Am I hallucinating right now? Test it again. Do it again.
Elder Yan's face flushed a furious bright red. He was gritting his teeth so hard they were practically grinding to dust. Is that old fool Jodo seriously not going to stop until he completely destroys this chip? This time, the staff didn't hesitate for a single second. The holographic projection whirred back to life once more. The final result was still a perfect 0. Once, twice, 3 times. And every single time, the result was a perfect 0. Oh my god. It is 5 times. Our old chips couldn't even survive a single round of this. He's sane. Jodo has absolutely lost his mind. Is this really something a random appliance repairman's fixed?
This is a flat-out miracle.
Elder Yan couldn't hold it in any longer.
Dean Zhou, where on earth did you find the god who can manipulate a lithography machine to this level?
Is that enough for you, Elder Yan? Does our chip meet your standards now?
More than enough.
It is more than enough, Dean Zhou.
More than enough. Then what about sending me to a military tribunal like you threatened earlier? Dean Zhou asked, playing a bit petty now. Back then, they treated the 7th Research Institute like it was absolutely nothing in the entire country. Why did the people from the Central Command even bother coming here? It was because they didn't trust us. You didn't believe it the first time, did you?
Well, we just ran it 5 times in a row.
Do you believe it now?
Oh, come on, Dean Zhou. We are both old men now. Why hold such a grudge? Hey you, go to the trunk of my car and bring my premium Da Hampao tea for Dean Zhou to enjoy. Everyone standing around was completely dumbstruck.
Who in the entire Central Command didn't know about Elder Yan's notorious hot temper? Dean Zhou, here's the detailed data report from the 5 tests we just ran.
Please sign here. Let me. How could we trouble Dean Zhou with such a trivial matter? Elder Yan quickly snatched the stack of papers from the staff member and began reviewing them with intense focus.
The grin on his face grew wider and wider. The data from all 5 tests showed different results.
But how on earth is this chip's stability rate actually continuing to rise?
This is absolutely insane.
Just look at this feedback curve. Elder Yan stared at the stack of data, and the more he looked, the more ecstatic he became. If we had more data like this, the United States wouldn't even stand a chance.
Old Joe, let me ask you a serious question.
Was this thing really fixed by an appliance repairman?
Elder Yan smiled with satisfaction, carefully slipping the documents into his briefcase.
What? You still don't trust me?
It's not that I don't believe you. It's just that this whole thing is way too bizarre.
At the very least, you have to tell us what kind of materials he used.
This could be a massive breakthrough for our scientific research.
Fine. I'll give the shop owner a call. Everyone, quiet down.
Boss Chen? Hi, I hope I'm not bothering you.
I'm Shen Chinky's uncle.
I brought something to your shop to get fixed the other afternoon. Do you remember me? Oh, it's you.
You recovered from your illness? Why are you calling me?
Are you trying to scam me now?
No, absolutely not.
I actually called to give you some great news.
That lithography machine module you fixed.
It works perfectly. Well, duh. Isn't that obvious? Tell me something I don't know.
To fix that, what did you call it? That lithogizmo? I literally had to scrape some tin off a Laugan Ma chili sauce lid, crush it into powder, and weld it on. I was actually planning to use the lid of an animal cracker tin, and I only charged you a few $100.
You guys got a total steal. Hearing this, everyone in the laboratory froze. What on earth were they even hearing?
Used to fix a cutting-edge lithography machine?
Is a chili sauce brand's lid manufacturing technology seriously that advanced?
Wow, Boss Chan sure has some creative ways to fix lithography machines.
For the first time in my life, I feel like a lithography machine is a piece of cheap junk.
If you can just scrape some metal off a random jar lid to repair it.
Look, Uncle, is there anything else? If not, I gotta go. I'm extremely busy here.
Auntie New next door is waiting for her induction cooker so she can make dinner.
No, nothing else. Just as Joe Dare wumbled his reply,
The line went dead. The entire laboratory fell into a dead silence.
What did the owner say at the end?
He said he has to fix an induction cooker.
A guy who can repair a cutting-edge lithography machine is spending his time fixing an induction cooker.
揪到狗吧。
Struggling to find his voice, he replied. He said, Auntie Liu next door is in a rush to make dinner. Elder Tao's eyes went completely blank as he repeated those words. A second later, he fell flat on his face, collapsing straight to the ground.
Get him to the hospital, quick, call an ambulance.
10 minutes later, inside the hospital ward.
Doctor, how is he? Is he going to be okay?
It is nothing too serious. He just suffered a sudden shock from extreme agitation. His blood pressure spiked dangerously high.
What on earth did you do to him?
At his age, he absolutely cannot handle that kind of shock. Hearing this, Joe Ho finally let out a sigh of relief, the heavy weight in his heart lifting.
Something shocking?
What could possibly be more shocking than finding out a billion-dollar photolithography machine
Was actually fixed with a chili sauce lid? Exactly! This completely defies all scientific logic. Who on earth is this appliance repairman? Brothers and Joe, can we contact that shop owner again?
We need to know exactly which brand of chili sauce lid can be used to fix a photolithography machine.
This is extremely important to our research.
President Joe, you can't keep this genius to yourself.
This is something that could benefit our entire nation. Don't worry, you'll get all the credit. None of us will try to steal your glory. I'm not worried about you taking the credit.
It is just that this shop owner has a bit of a temper.
No matter how powerful or prestigious we think we are,
we mean absolutely nothing to him.
Just wait until I find a good opportunity. I will do my best to convince him to serve his country.
seeing his determination, the crowd stopped pressing him.
They all nodded in agreement.
The afternoon sun shone lazily through the window.
Having finished my morning shift, I sat there with a toothpick in my mouth, leaned back in my chair with my hands behind my head, wondering what to eat for lunch.
Just then,
A warm, familiar voice called out from the door. Zhao Chen! Hey, Ya Chen!
you haven't eaten yet, have you?
Look at this. Now that you fixed my induction cooker, it heats up so fast.
I just made some braised pork. Here, hurry up and try some.
Oh, Auntie, when it comes to cooking,
Even restaurant dishes with 800 different spices can't beat a home-cooked meal made with just salt and soy sauce. It smells amazing.
No. I should be thanking you, Xiao Chen. You never charge me a single penny when you fix my things. If it weren't for you today, I wouldn't even have been able to make lunch. Your skills are truly... It actually works better than the official customer service. His eyes locked onto the central system on the other side as he spoke.
Inside Song Mingwen's office,
2 men stood before Song Mingwen. Their heads hung so low they almost touched the floor.
商明网萨比汉你的车。
His back straight as a rod.
right in front of him sat the high-tech wiretap that I had repaired.
this is a military-grade wiretap, a classified device.
With class of security,
The core technology alone took our research institute's countless revisions to perfect.
And some small-time repair shop owner just cracked it. How long did it take him?
5 minutes.
No, 6 minutes. A military-grade wiretap.
And you're telling me he didn't use a single tool to fix this thing? Do I look like an idiot to you? This is absolute bullshit. It's the truth, sir. It really didn't take long. When we went in, we told him it was just a music player, but he just picked it up and tapped out the top-secret reboot sequence.
Even the Black Pigeon system we nearly killed ourselves trying to crack. He activated it effortlessly.
It's like he knew exactly what it was from the very beginning.
An appliance repairman cracking a top-secret sequence.
Without any equipment, just tapping it out with a single bare finger.
How does that not sound like science fiction?
An entire office fell into a dead silence.
Zhao Mingwen leaned back in his chair.
He closed his eyes, his breathing steady.
But his mind was racing.
About his shop. Was there anything unusual there?
Not really.
It seemed like a completely ordinary repair shop. It was covered in grease, cluttered with spare parts and circuit boards.
And extremely messy.
We swept the place the moment we walked in. We didn't find any hidden compartments or high-tech equipment.
张明文错了地段。
His eyes filled with deep disappointment. Someone who can casually crack the black pigeon system, willingly staying in a messy repair shop. That in itself makes absolutely no sense.
Could this guy be a trump card hidden by Jodo?
But that doesn't add up. If he really was Show That O's trump card, Judo would never have reported him to us.
Just as the tension in the office grew so thick you could cut it with a knife, the door was suddenly burst wide open.
Minister Su, look, we did it. Joe Ditto didn't lie to us. That 1% precision rate is real. Where did you get this report?
Tang Mingwen coded the stack of reports.
And after glancing through it for a moment, his brows instantly furrowed. Elder Yan took us to the 7th Research Institute. This is the report we brought back from there. Well, Minister Song, with his data sheet in hand, we can finally announce China's breakthrough in optical technology to the entire world.
Where's Elder Yan? Why didn't he come back with you?
Elder Yan. He was hospitalized. Hospitalized? What's wrong with him? He's not really sick. He just got so excited when he saw the report that he passed out.
In the doctor's words, he was just way too excited, and his blood pressure skyrocketed.
Song Mingwen was completely speechless. To think that even the great Elder Yan was defeated by a single chip report.
It looks like the day China breaks through the Western blockade has finally arrived.
Right at that moment, the phone on the desk started ringing. Hello? General Zhao Hu.
He Xiaoya.
Yes, I know him.
No, absolutely not.
这么早 I know you all want to catch He Xiao.
But isn't this against the rules? No, absolutely not.
As soon as the call connected,
上党明万怒屁的人不虚
his expression growing uglier by the second. Old Zhao, it's not that I don't want to help you with this. It's just that I really can't. Hu Shou is a total all-rounder, an absolute beast on the battlefield. In military drills, Hu Shou is a living nightmare for every single commander. The guy never plays by the book, and his tactics are outrageously tricky. Last year, one of your elite armored divisions didn't even cover half the distance of the exercise before the evaluation department declared them all wiped out. The #1 rule when running drills against Hu Yao is that there are no rules. Old song, this exercise is mainly to simulate and counter future high-tech warfare. We can't fight tomorrow's wars with yesterday's troops, so you've got to help me out this time. This time, I am absolutely going to capture Wu Shou. Look, Old Zhao, it's not that I don't want to help you. The military has its rules, and we at the Research Institute have ours. We operate under 2 completely different systems. You can't just take the Research Institute's gear to fight your battles in the military. Every muscle in Song Wenyuan's face was trembling. If he actually helped him, he would be in serious, deep trouble. The evaluation committee will definitely inspect all the weapons and equipment. It would only be a matter of time before they traced it back to him. Rules are rigid, but people can adapt. Come on, Old Song, Director Song, just help me this one time, please. I'll send you a few of my best newly trained soldiers to stand guard for you, and I'll even give you a few bottles of my 20-year-aged Matai. I already have guards for security, and I don't lack good liquor either. Brother Song, I'm calling you Brother Song, all right? Is that enough? Just give me some laser weapons. Or some electromagnetic pulse tech, anything. I won't make things too difficult for you. Even a half-baked prototype from your lab would do. Zhao Hu's voice was practically begging now. Cold sweat began to bead on Song Minyuan's forehead. He knew exactly how much these military exercises meant to the troops. But if you cheat by getting gear from me, it completely defeats the purpose of the exercise. Come on, Brother Song.
预告后要架替全领 Supersonic missiles, drone swarms.
It's like a sci-fi movie. My radar didn't even show a single thing. Before the evaluation committee notified me that the exercise was already over. It's too much. Just give me a few precision guidance chips. I'll mount them onto the warheads myself, okay?
absolutely not, General Zhao.
This is a matter of principle. Director Song, you're really something. Fine. You can just wait to collect my corpse. With that, Zhao Hu slammed the phone down. Listening to the dead dial tone, Song Mingwan stood there, completely dazed. He's completely offended Zhao Hu this time. Meanwhile, inside the lab of the 7th Research Institute, amidst the roar of machinery and researchers in lab coats rushing back and forth, someone muttered, "What is the director up to?" Yeah, do we even have this many projects going on in our institute? No idea. Apparently, Director Zhou fixed the Nandu 3. He wants to run a performance test on it. Wait, wasn't Nandu 3 a scrapped project from the Aerospace Systems Division? How on earth did Director Zhou manage to fix it?
Don't tell me it's that repair shop again?
Can that sketchy little shop seriously even fix Nandu 3? The lab crew was completely dumbfounded. Ever since that bizarre repair shop popped up out of nowhere, it felt like their workload would never end. Before, the machines actually got a break. But now, they don't stop for a single second. And the crew has to work non-stop, day and night. Hey, what are you guys gossiping about? Hurry up! Director Zhou is on his way! Just as the words left his mouth, Jodilo walked in through the main doors, dressed in a full protective suit. He was cradling a small case tightly in his arms. How are the preparations coming along? Reporting. Director, everything is fully prepared, sir. The testing of the Nandu 3 Global Satellite Navigation System's high-precision atomic clock synchronization chip officially begins. Nandu 3 chip is ready.
Target locked.
Initiating simulated interference. Level 5 intensity.
The operator hesitated for a brief second when reporting the interference signal.
Level 5 interference. Think this is practically simulating the absolute harshest environment of active combat.
Under these extreme conditions, it's enough to completely blind even the most advanced navigation system. All right, let's begin.
With Joda's command,
A drone began to move. On the side of the projection screen, all the detailed parameters of the drone were displayed. Suddenly, the environment in the projection changed drastically.
The data metrics began to skyrocket wildly.
Countless chaotic tangled signals instantly engulfed the drone. The drone, which had been perfectly stable just a second ago, now began to wobble violently. Warning,
The drone is deviating heavily from its flight path.
staring at the data on the screen. A look of deep disappointment washed over Jodo's face.
Did it fail? After all?
I guess the world really is fair to everyone.
For Chen Zhangzhou to fix a lithography machine was already a miracle at his absolute limit.
Expecting him to fix the Nandu satellite navigation system
Clearly went way beyond his area of expertise.
Still, just the ability to repair a lithography machine is already mind-blowingly god-tier. But just as Jodo lowered his head in utter disappointment, the roof suddenly erupted with gasps. He snapped his head up to look.
And saw a third set of data flashing on the holographic screen.
According to the display, it was the chip's very own built-in algorithm. It was locking down the drone's erratic data, pinning it in place,
And then automatically deployed a secondary backup algorithm. In the end, the numbers on the giant screen stabilized, freezing completely.
high above, the drone was hovering peacefully, totally unharmed. What on earth is this?
Since when did our satellite have this kind of tech?
The Nanda satellite doesn't.
But Boss Chen's shop does.
Judo let out a massive, smug grin.
I told you guys back then. He said he just tweaked the algorithm a bit.
But they never imagined that a simple, casual tweak could actually let the drone survive under level 5 electronic interference.
What in the world is inside that kid's head? If I could just recruit him into my research institute.
We'd absolutely skyrocket to the top. Who exactly is this boss anyway?
Is there literally nothing he can't fix? Everyone in the room was instantly buzzing with curiosity.
First, the missing lithography module. He fixed it perfectly. And now, he's completely fixed the Nandu 3 chip as well.
And as it turned out, anything that went through his hands worked even better than brand new. As one thrilling report after another echoed through the room,
The entire lab fell into a collective silence of pure awe.
everyone was completely frozen in shock.
These sets of data didn't just represent the success of Nandu 3. They represented an unprecedented breakthrough in the history of Chinese scientific research.
Meanwhile, Jodo quickly dialed a number on his phone. Hello? Boss Chen, it's me. The Nandu 3 chip. Oh, the guy who almost died in my shop? What are you calling for?
Are you trying to scam me for money?
No, of course not. I just wanted to let you know. The chip you fixed is now stable within 1/100th of a millimeter.
This is an absolutely mind-blowing number.
Is that all?
Judo went on and on, bubbling with excitement.
But I, on the other end of the line, didn't sound excited at all. Boss Chen, aren't you even a little surprised? Shocked by the data, aren't you?
Why would I be shocked?
Did you think I was some street con artist?
I actually have standards, all right?
Did you think I took your few $100 for nothing?
Basha, I'm not that kind of girl. After hanging up, Jodale was left utterly dumbfounded.
Why did he feel like this was a trap I'd set for him? Dean, are you okay? Fine. Pack up the chip for me.
I need to make a trip to the aerospace department. The Nandu 3 was brought over from the aerospace department. Back then, they said this thing was beyond repair, so they gave it to Jodador to let him try his luck.
Meanwhile, a military vehicle was speeding along like lightning. Its destination was also the aerospace department. In the back seat, Zhou Hu's face was incredibly grim. That blockhead old song actually chose to stand by and do nothing at such a critical moment. You won't help, is that it?
Fine. Then I'll go straight to the aerospace department to find Zheng Q1.
After all, they're the ones who specialize in everything up in the sky. Think of this. Zhao Hu felt a bit more hopeful.
Inside the aerospace department building, people were bustling back and forth.
It was a scene of utter chaos.
兄讯闻到粉，指点路回，这点懒懒得到时刻。
It felt more like a wartime command center. Phones were ringing off the hook, one after another. The constant stream of people made it as noisy as a chaotic market. Everyone looked like they were pumped up on adrenaline, with urgency practically written all over their faces. Minister, this drone engine report needs your signature. Wait a moment. Minister, you need to take a look at the wiring improvement plan for Launch Base 3.
军气文3例试卷儿，
Holding the phone in one hand while keeping his eyes glued to the incoming files.
He wished he had 3 heads and 6 arms right now. Just then, an excited voice echoed from the doorway. Old Joe!
What wind blew you in?
What wind?
The wind of the Nandu 3 chip, of course. Here, take a look.
I got the Nandu 3 fixed for you.
Wasn't that Nandu 3 project scrapped? Where on earth did you get it repaired?
The performance of this thing is absolutely insane right now.
Our lab has already done some preliminary testing on it for you. The accuracy and anti-interference capabilities will definitely blow your mind.
All right, old Joe. I don't have time to waste on your nonsense right now. Look at my desk. The files are already piling up like a mountain. Just look around on your own. I really don't have time to mess around with you today. But I actually fixed it. Jodo stirs back, thoroughly annoyed.
Let me say this to you one more time.
The Nandu 3 project was declared dead by the higher-ups long ago.
Fixing it requires massive amounts of money, manpower, and resources. And even then, there is absolutely no guarantee it'll work. But I really did fix it.
Can you just take one look at it before you say anything?
Fine. Your 7th Institute is the absolute best.
But right now, I have a pile of files to sign.
So take this thing and get out of here. If you really did fix it,
then you can keep the damn thing.
21 shoved the box right back at him.
Judo's face instantly darkened. A rage of pure fury surged up from inside him, boiling straight to his head.
without another word, he spun around, grabbed his box, and stormed out of the office.
Meanwhile, another figure stepped out of the office building.
Zhao Hu and his guard looked incredibly frustrated. Why on earth was Zheng Qiwen just as stubborn as Song Lingyuan?
Always talking about principles.
He is even harder to deal with than Song Zhengwan.
Even after trying everything from threats to bribes,
Kenji refused to budge at all. Trying to talk to him about Nandu 3 was like casting pearls before swine. As they stepped into the courtyard, they overheard someone grumbling. Wasn't Nandu 3 that highly ambitious, cutting-edge project that got shut down a while ago?
Zhao Hu curved around
And came face to face with Jodel, whose expression was darker than a restless spirit. Excuse me, sir.
did you just say Nandu 3?
Hearing this, Jodelo looked up and froze.
Oh boy.
Although he didn't recognize the man, he could clearly see the stars on his shoulders. Greetings, Commander.
Yes, it is indeed Nandu 3.
This is the Nandu 3 chip that our 7th Institute just successfully repaired.
But that stubborn old fool, Zheng Kui, has no eye for value.
He keeps insisting my Nandu 3 chip is a fake.
轴斗寇克给脚户玩杀俘虏。
And eagerly presented his small box. Nandu 3? I thought that project was officially scrapped. That was before.
Our research institute has completely solved the bottleneck. We have already fully upgraded the chip's core technology. Right now, its accuracy is so high, it can target a single fly. Its anti-jamming capabilities are off the charts. Even if the sky is falling, it will keep running without a hitch.
But the real kicker? It runs on its own independent algorithm.
Chudu finally found the perfect outlet to unleash his excitement.
He eagerly introduced one breakthrough after another. Is it really that incredible? Zhao Hu was left completely dumbfounded as he listened.
He was a general, after all. Leading troops into battle? No problem. But when it came to complex scientific data, he was completely out of his depth.
How would I ever dare to lie to you, General?
If we put this on a missile, it'll hit the target with absolute pinpoint precision. If we equip our frontline soldiers with this,
They can slip deep behind enemy lines, mark targets, and stay in constant contact with command at all times. It is absolutely flawless.
the expression on Zhao Hu's face shifted from mere curiosity to sheer disbelief.
And finally, complete and utter shock. His breathing grew heavy, completely losing his composure. This was everything he had ever dreamed of. Unbeatable precision positioning. Unparalleled anti-jamming capabilities. And an independent communication channel. Every single word struck Zhao Hu right in the heart.
Can you take full responsibility for what you've just said?
Of course. I am the dean of the 7th Research Institute. A dean of my standing wouldn't make empty promises, okay?
Since that's the case,
I am willing to allocate special funding to fully support your mass production. If that isn't enough, I will personally apply for additional funds to push this research forward.
but our unit must be the first to use it.
And you cannot let anyone else have it in the short term. Well, about that, General.
Think the mass dot isn't possible yet.
Because this chip's encryption channels and logical operations are completely independent. It's an entirely new system. It is the key to unlocking the future.
But we only have one of these keys right now.
And honestly, we still don't fully understand its internal structure. The most critical issue is that this key needs to dock with our satellites in space. Don't worry. I will request the country's top research academies to assist you.
I refuse to believe our great nation cannot reverse engineer a finished product. Not for a tiny thing like this. It won't work, General.
The research academies can't handle this?
What do you mean? Tell me which institute you need and I'll get them. Any academy in the entire country. You're telling me they can't even crack a single tiny chip?
Zhao Hu's brow furrowed into a tight knot.
To him, they already had the finished product right there. That meant they had the answer key in front of them. Since you have the answers, why can't you just copy them and get it over with?
General, the research institute really can't handle this.
And who the hell can? An appliance repair shop.
What did you just say?
Zhao Hu's voice instantly spiked. He seriously doubted his own hearing. The National Research Institute can't fix it. And you want to take it to some cheap repair shop?
Are you out of your mind? This is a top-tier project that dictates our nation's entire strategic future.
General, I know this sounds absolutely crazy, but I can't explain it all to you right now.
Let's take a trip there and you'll see for yourself. Meanwhile, inside the repair shop,
The air was thick with the smell of burnt plastic. I was holding a tiny pair of tweezers, gripping a capacitor smaller than a grain of rice, fixing a component on an old amplifier to fix it. Repaired. One 1980s amplifier.
Gain 2 tech points. Current tech points. 1,940. As I set down the tweezers,
A robotic voice chimed in. How many days had it been already? Everything I fixed was either a rice cooker or an induction stove. My tech points were growing slower than a snail.
remember the last time I repaired that lithography machine and the Nandu number 3 chip?
man, those tech points shot up like crazy.
At this rate,
Haha. Fucking about getting the blueprints for the Jiancheng battleship.
I won't even have enough pocket change for a single military exoskeleton.
Just then,
A military vehicle pulled up right outside the shop,
Zhao Hu stared at the completely ordinary street before him.
his eyebrows twitching with annoyance. General, this is the place. The street was a bit messy,
Filled with the noisy shouts of street vendors.
It was crowded enough, but it looked no different from any other rundown alley. You put a secret base here? Aren't you worried about blowing your cover?
Where's the entrance?
What's the password? Secret base? General, there is no secret base, and there's no secret entrance either. This is it, the repair shop I was telling you about.
You do? Do you think this is a damn joke?
Even the research academy couldn't fix the Nandu 3 system.
And you bring me to this absolute dump.
The military drills are about to... Do you think my time is something you can just waste?
Zhao Fu stayed quiet for a second.
Before completely losing his temper. General, please calm down. Our Nandu 3 was repaired right here. And that is not even all. The precision on that lithography machine the other day, we calibrated it right here. If this guy can't fix it, then I swear, nobody else in the entire world can. Wait, what? He can actually fix a lithography machine? Zhao Ho froze instantly. Everyone knew how insanely complex those lithography machines were, and this rundown shack could actually repair one? He narrowed his eyes and sized up Shou Deho. After all, the man was the official director of the 7th Research Institute.
A man of his stature would not lie just to drag him to a dump like this. Fine.
Let's go in and take a look. But if things inside aren't exactly as you said, I do not care who you think you are. I will personally make sure you get fired. Zhao Hu straightened his uniform and marched toward the repair shop.
Judo let out a long, heavy sigh of relief.
Before quickly following him inside. Thing. Repairable items detected. Flash 3 tactical flashlight, internal circuit board short circuit.
Falcon tactical goggles, thermal imaging coating peeling. Hummingbird microcommunicator, damaged signal receiver module.
The moment they stepped through the door, I immediately scanned the man standing next to Zhao Hu and got the repair data. These were all high-grade military gear, and the guy leading them clearly held a massive amount of authority. He had to be some big shot in the military.
Boss, long time no see.
Hey, old man. It has been a while. How have you been keeping? Even though I wasn't particularly fond of old Zhou, the customer is always king. I still had to show some basic courtesy. Fantastic. My health is great, and so are the chips. Everything you repaired for us, Boss Chen, works like a charm. We ran a full battery of tests once we got back, and the performance actually blew the factory specs out of the water.
All right, cut the crap and tell me something I don't know. Zhao Hu grumbled, shaking his head in disbelief.
He originally thought the shop owner would at least be a man in his 40s or 50s. But to his surprise, it turned out to be just some wet behind-the-ears kid in his early 20s. He figured there would be some high-precision, specialized instruments in here. But once he stepped inside, other than the heavy smell of rust and the stench of burnt plastic hanging in the air, there was nothing.
So young, yet so slick-tongued.
Completely shallow and arrogant. A guy like this is supposed to be some hidden master?
This is an absolute joke. General, we haven't even started yet.
Where are you going? And Zhou Dio, you and I will settle our score later. Hey, big boss. The circuit board on your guard's tactical flashlight is fried. And those tactical goggles he's wearing? The thermal imaging coating has completely peeled off. If he uses them at night, he might as well be blind. Oh, right. The signal module in his micro earpiece is also burned out. Aren't you worried it might explode and blow his ear off? My voice wasn't loud, but it rang crystal clear in everyone's ears. Especially Zhao Hu's guard. He looked at me in utter disbelief. The general snapped. What is going on here? Report, General. The flashlight was accidentally damaged during training a few days ago. The goggles and the communicator also malfunctioned. I was planning to get replacements today, but our sudden route times didn't give me enough time. You managed to break every single piece of critical equipment. Are you out here on a mission, or are you taking a stroll in the park? No report, no replacement. If this were a real battlefield, you'd be a sitting duck. Zhao Hu was already furious. And now, He pointed right at his guard's nose, unleashing a torrent of rage.
But then, a sudden realization hit him, and he froze.
They hadn't uttered a single word about their gear since they walked through the door. How on earth did this young man know all of this?
How did you know?
Only now did Zhao Hu fully grasp the situation.
His eyes locked onto me, piercing and intense.
Years of battle and bloodshed caused a sudden icy chill to erupt from this veteran soldier.
Zhou Do, standing nearby, jumped in fright. He was terrified that with one command, Zhao Hu would have his guard drag me out and beat me to a pulp. First of all, what kind of decent person walks around with a bodyguard? Second, I don't care what high and mighty position you hold in the military, but this is my shop, on my turf. Even if you're a dragon, you'd better curl up. And if you're a tiger, you'd better lie low. If you don't like it, get the hell out. Hearing this, Shododo was completely stunned. Holy crap, Boss Chen. Do you have to be so badass?
This is a general we're talking about.
If you wanted to,
Forget about your little shop.
He could toss you straight into a steel furnace and melt you to ash. You believe that?
交互安乐是到壳里呢。
in his eyes, besides shock, there was utter disbelief. For all these years, apart from getting kicked a few times by a squad leader back in boot camp, no one had ever dared to talk to him like this. How dare you speak to him like that? At this moment, the guard next to him couldn't take it anymore. Punching his fists, he charged straight at me. Did I tell you to move? Get the hell back! Before the guard could reach me,
要互八长，
the guard's feet instantly froze, and he immediately backed away. What on earth are you guys here for? Let me tell you something. This is a repair shop, not a fighting ring. If you want to fight, take it outside. On the surface, I looked as cool as a cucumber, but inside, I was freaking out like crazy. These big shots bodyguards are really something else. Under his loose clothes, his muscles instantly bulged just now. If that fist had landed on my head, this drama would have had an early finale. It's like this, Boss Chen. Remember that Nandu number 3 chip we repaired last time? We'd like you to install this chip onto a warhead so that the warhead will have a positioning function. Do you think you can do that? That sounds intense. What are you guys planning to do? Hearing this, I instantly got interested. This is a massive job. It's for war. In our blue army, there's a guy named Hu Chayo. I'm sure you're familiar with him. Every time we fight, we lose. This time, we want to get a win. Can you actually pull this off? Zhao Ho stared at me, his face dead serious as he demanded. I knew if I said no, he was going to make me pay for everything, past and present. Could I do it? Of course I could. But I need this much. I flashed 5 fingers right in front of him. 500? Sure. I'll scan the code right now.
Zhou Do eagerly whipped out
His phone, ready to pay. 500? What joke is this? No. This time, I want 50,000. Why? Wasn't it always 500 before? Why the sudden price hike? Because I don't like his face, and he dared to get rough with me. 50,000 is a bargain. I pointed my finger right at Zhao Hu, defiance flashing in my eyes. Fine, 50,000 it is. Get it done right, and I'll throw in another 50,000. With a crisp chiming sound of payment received, I officially accepted this massive deal. All right, I took your money, so I'll solve your problem. But we can't do this job here. We have to go to your place. Why? Our facility is a high-security classified project site. We don't even know who you really are. If any classified data gets leaked, we're talking about a major national security crisis. Look, you seem like a pretty high-ranking official, but you don't seriously expect me to mount the Nandu 3 system onto a tiny bullet, do you? We need an actual artillery shell at the bare minimum. Is that the kind of weapon we can just wave around in the middle of a busy city? The moment that thing steps out of the shadows, I'm going to end up on the evening news. This time, Zhao Hu was left speechless yet again. But this time, he was entirely convinced by my logic. He had only been obsessed with getting the chip onto the Nandu 3 system, completely overlooking the practical logistics. Fine, no problem. You two wait here for a second. I'm going to pack my gear. I tossed those words to them and headed straight into the back storage room.
九州稳炸后失德者，肯霹雳当弹大有效。
They expected me to emerge with a massive pile of heavy equipment and luggage, but instead, I walked back out carrying nothing but a single tattered cloth bag. Is that all you're bringing? Where's your equipment? Equipment? Who needs equipment? My brain is the ultimate piece of equipment, I said, rolling my eyes at Zhao Hu. And immediately, I turned around and walked straight out the door. Fine, he's the tech genius here. Anyway, as long as he can crush Hu Xiao, whatever he says goes. Wait, did you two walk here? Where's the car? We might not have planes and tanks, but we should at least have a military vehicle. We do. Zhou Dao quickly gave his guard a look. A moment later, a sedan and a military vehicle drove up. Not bad. I've never ridden in a military vehicle in my entire life. Let's move. Move. The 2 vehicles sped down the highway. I leaned back in the rear seat, closing my eyes to rest, installing microchips on conventional warheads. This give is way more interesting than repairing sonic wave devices.
The flight path of a conventional warhead,
Especially during the terminal phase, is highly vulnerable to various factors.
Air currents, temperature.
Humidity, target movement, and so on. The so-called terminal correction
means that in the final seconds before the warhead hits the target,
it uses its internal micropropulsion system to adjust its attitude and correct any deviations. A few hours later, the two vehicles slowly drove into a heavily fortified military compound. Towering walls, electrified fences, with guards and sentries posted every 3 to 5 steps. Soldiers carrying loaded rifles patrolled back and forth. The moment we stepped inside, I felt an intense, heavy tension in the air. As expected of a military base, this atmosphere is incredibly imposing. Boss Chen, we've arrived. Hearing those words, I clutched my ragged cloth bag and got out of the car. Once inside the building, I was completely blown away.
This place is light years ahead of my little repair shop.
It was a massive hangar-like facility with a vast, open layout. All kinds of sophisticated, nameless, high-tech instruments were humming with life. Staff in various uniforms were busy at their respective workstations. My sudden appearance instantly caught everyone's attention. Wait, isn't that General Zhao? Who is that young man behind him?
No idea.
Doesn't look like anyone important. Looks more like some country bumpkin.
Shut your mouth.
Do you think anyone accompanied by General Zhao could be ordinary?
Old Wei called out, telling everyone to drop what they were doing
And gather around.
Within moments,
Dozens of military engineers in jumpsuits, lined up in a neat row. Let me introduce everyone. This is Zhou Deshang, director of the 7th Research Institute.
and this is Chen Wanzhou,
A repair shop owner?
instantly all eyes snapped toward me.
Filled with absolute confusion. What on earth is a repair shop owner doing here? Director Zhou, please, introduce it to everyone. Yes, General. Everyone, our entire purpose for coming here today is for this very thing. With that, Zhou Dei retrieved a small chip from a case.
What is that?
Is it some kind of high-tech gear? It doesn't look ordinary, but what exactly is it used for? Everyone craned their necks to get a closer look at what Zhou Dei was holding. Their faces filled with curiosity. This is the chip for the Nandu 3 satellite navigation system.
What? Wasn't the Nandu 3 project halted?
To technology, the funding, the time. We didn't have any of it. How is this possible? As the head of the base, Old Wei immediately snatched the chip to examine it closely. Incredible. It really is the Nandu 3. Seamless, single-body molding. I've never seen this kind of technology before. The base material is also extraordinary. It's not standard silicon-based. It looks more like a carbon-based material. Look at this precision. It must be under 3 nanometers. Which laboratory on Earth built this? Where is the serial number? Look at this.
With such insane processing speeds?
Once it starts running, the heat output will be astronomical. Within just a few short seconds, the crowd erupted into a frenzy of excited chatter. Alho watched them closely.
Sure, this was a highly secure military base.
And every researcher here was top tier, handpicked from the country's best academies. Yet, even a powerhouse of a team like this could see just how terrifying the Nandu 3 chip was just by looking at it.
Looks like this thing is the real deal. What do you all think?
I am sorry, General. We just don't understand it. We only know that this thing is on a whole different level. Whatever lab built this, they must be light years ahead of us. Old Wei said, letting out a bitter laugh as he shook his head. The other scientists nodded in agreement, looking more utterly bewildered than the next. Hearing this, Zhao Hu's face darkened instantly. He had always prided himself on having the most elite team in the country. Who would have thought that a single, tiny chip would leave these brilliant minds completely clueless?
Mr. Chen, why don't you break it down for them?
Jiao Fu took a deep breath.
And turned to look at me. Ever since I walked in, I had been sizing up the equipment and the overall setup.
Compared to my cramped little repair shop, this place was like heaven and earth.
Still, as impressive as the gear was, letting a bunch of amateurs use it was a massive waste of resources. I let out a soft chuckle, walked over to the crowd, and picked up the chip. All right, look. I knew you guys wouldn't be able to figure it out, but I didn't expect you all to be quite this useless. The researcher's brows furrowed in instant irritation.
Who the hell is this kid?
Everyone in this room holds a PhD at the very least. This brat looks like he hasn't even finished college.
Who does he think he is? Talking down to us like that.
He's going to choke on his own arrogance. This little thing is called the Nandu 3. But I guess you already know that much. Its core processor runs on a 114 nucleonic subsequences. It is only natural that you don't understand it. A 1001.
What on earth is that?
Look, with such an incredibly high level of integration, how do you even begin to handle the heat dissipation once it starts running?
Oh, I've already modified that part for you.
It uses copper permalloy and high-temperature superconducting materials, which perfectly ensures stable daily operation under real-world conditions.
And these micropores on the chip? They are actually the intake and exhaust ports for the microthermoelectric generator.
It can convert the heat generated from processing right back into electricity. making the entire system completely self-sustaining. I pointed at the chip, speaking nonchalantly, but everyone else in the room lost their minds, especially Dean Zhudao, whose eyes nearly popped out of his head.